2:08 each Monday, straight after the news at 2, we talk television with Scott Ellis. Scott, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And joining us today, the toughest building foreman in the land, Keith Schleiger. Good afternoon.
G'day, Dennis.
Are you the toughest?
No, I'm a softie.
Oh.
Absolute softie.
Right.
I'm just misunderstood.
Are you happy to take calls if people want to know anything about the block?
If they're going to be nice.
Well, you can just direct them. You're the radio
No,
foreman
I'm
for
quite
5.
happy. All good.
96900 693. This year's contestants, Keith, the toughest group to keep in line?
I think, and I'm seriously saying this, the best group we've ever had. I know we say it every year, but this year, everybody knew what they had to do. They knew they had a big project. They attacked it with every % of their body. They worked hard, and it's a great, great series.
Do you honestly think they had any idea of what they were getting in for, though? Because you kept saying to them, this is going to be big, this is going to be big. And then by about day 2, they kind of looked at you and went, this is big.
This is too big.
Well, it was big as an understatement. Logistically, before we started, we knew we'd have issues. We actually doubted whether we'd actually get through it and finish it. We thought we might have had a few days off so the contestants could catch up, but it ran like clockwork, and the product is amazing.
The very first challenge, just in itself, was questioned along the way.
Yeah.
The days.
Yeah, with good reason.
And was that the first hurdle you thought you were going to be crossing?
Yes, we knew the first week was nearly not achievable, even though a couple of contestants did achieve it. And they attacked it with all their might. They didn't give up. The contestants went hard. They had a crack, and a few couples finished. It was good.
Do any of them cut corners?
Well,
They're
they
not
try
allowed
to.
Sorry?
They're not allowed to. That's where Keith comes in.
Right. But you can't be watching
They do
everything,
try to cut
Keith.
corners. They do. But, you know, there's so many people looking over it. There's Dan, myself, and we have a building crew there, so nothing sort of slips through. Every now and again we get some work done over the night, and that's done with the contestants by themselves. But next morning we come in, we check it, and Dan and I just do our best to not let any mistakes take place.
Are you allowed to say who's the hardest to deal with?
This year, there was the hardest contestant I've ever had to deal with.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yes, there's a unique character on the block this year called Jesse, and
I've had Jesse on the program.
Lovely guy, isn't he?
Very motivated.
motivated. He was motivated to upset everybody, I think, and
He's a strategist.
I didn't really know how to take him, and he wouldn't really give me reason to sort of go off. He would just stir me up just nicely, and I absorbed all of his little remarks, and then I finally crack.
He does like to poke the bear. He says that early on.
Poke the bear? He was stabbing the bear. He wasn't poking me. He was driving a driver through my head. He was just relentless in cheek. It just happened every time we did a scene, and I don't know. I was as patient as I could be.
We kept waiting for the blockinator to come out. We just kept thinking, this is going to end badly, and you would just smile and nod.
Yeah, it's a hard situation.
It does develop, though, doesn't it?
It does develop, and he stirs me up, and
Which is great.
you know it is. I knew he'd come on the block this year to stir Scotty up, myself, Dan, and he did it pretty well.
What does he have to gain doing that? Or is that part of his personality?
That's part of his personality. He gains nothing through that. If anything, he probably gets Dan and myself offside, which isn't a good idea. And we're only human, and if we've got a situation where we have to pick one contestant out, he's going to be last every time. And I don't know, we're only human, so
I just don't think he can turn it off. I think that's just who he is, and that's the charm of Jesse, though. I mean, he is what you see.
It is, and even though we have these issues, I actually like him. I really do.
I found him when I chatted to him here, and Mel, I found him to be extremely likeable and someone who really, I think whatever he does in life, he thinks his way through the process.
I don't think he thought his way through getting Keith offside,
However,
poking that particular bear is...
Well, Scott witnessed it firsthand, and
that's like, just rubbing a bit of tuna on yourself and jumping in the shark tank.
yeah, but it sounds like Keith's come around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably mellowing in my older age, I think. I'm mellowing out a bit. If it had happened 5 years ago, I think he...
Head first in a cement mixer.
I don't know what would happen, to be honest. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to go there. But yeah, I'm getting mellower.
What advice would you give to someone who's perhaps thinking about starting their own renovation?
Make sure you're cashed up. make sure you've got enough money. There's nothing worse than starting a project and getting halfway through it and realising you haven't got enough money. Funds are the most important thing, I think. And obviously, finalise all of your drawings and everything like that before you start.
And really, I know someone who did a renovation, and they had an old-fashioned architect who did it all by the old pencil, and it didn't work.
Funny that.
Didn't work at all. And there were lots of amendments coming
Funny,
in.
I'm actually starting a project tomorrow. I'm not really happy with the drawings. So I want to get them fixed up before I start.
Hope we're not holding you up from a meeting.
No, you're not. No, it's all good.
Scott, you were part of the production for this series of The Block, and it has been outstanding.
I had the very
It's
real
all because
pleasure
of you.
Exactly. I don't like to say that it's just because of me, but I think
Yes, you do.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. No, look, it was great fun to follow Keith and the gang around and just watch how it all came together, because I'd been writing about it for a long time. I'd been out on the set of every block, but this was the first one as a producer to sort of watch it from day one through, and it was everything I imagined and more. And that's why people keep saying to me, is this, is it as much fun as it looks? It is. It's amazing, and it just is
Fun?
I had a ball.
Fun.
Seriously, you got no idea what it's like to watch
You're a
somebody
sadist.
to poke you, like you and Jesse just sitting there. I honestly thought if I laugh out loud, they're just going to kick me off because I'll ruin the shot. But it was great fun, good fun to watch, and it's a really good show. And it's going to get better as it goes on too.
Keith, sorry, go ahead.
Well, Scott tricked me a few times.
I don't recall this.
Oh, yes, you do.
No,
Yes, you do.
it's
There are a few
We had a
secrets
bit-
that I didn't know until the series finished.
there's a lot-
It'll play out.
yeah. Well, and I was
Don't give too much away.
I was
No,
very
I think
careful to
anything
make
away.
sure that nothing that was done was in any way more annoying than what Jesse was doing, because I always wanted him to be your target and not me. I'm not completely stupid.
Keith, it's lovely to see you. I know you need to go off and have a look at your drawings. Good luck with that. But The Block is back tonight on 9 at 7:30, and it's been a ripping success again this year. Good to see you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Keith Schleiger.